And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Welcome to the Politics, Prepping, and Paranormal Podcast.
I'm so excited. Politics and paranormal. This is like the two things that I'm so obsessed with.
So good, it's scary.
Are you ready?
Welcome to the Politics, Prepping, and Paranormal Podcast. I'm Jeff Moore, and I'm your host. Looking forward to a great run of paranormal shows and guests this year, and this week is no exception. And a first for me, I'm excited to welcome my very first group to the show. Hailing from Kent in the United Kingdom, which for my U.S. listeners is a county just southeast of London, I'm excited to welcome all-female paranormal investigative group, the Spookettes. I first found out about them when they followed me on Facebook, and I checked them out and absolutely love their content and their work. They travel the UK and investigate some of the region's most haunted locations, and I'm looking forward to talking to them and learning about the chemistry of the group, some of their investigations, haunted locations, and what they're up to in the coming months.
The sun goes down and the shadows creep while the rest of the country is fast asleep. We're pulling up to the graveyard gates to see what kind of spirit waits. We've got the tech and the gift of sight. The Spookettes are taking back the night. We're the Spookettes, the fearless five. We're leading the hunt, taking the terror right at the front. Photo cases and names are watching the haze and calling the names from the crumbling tombs to the shadows deep. We're the only ones who never sleep. Oh. Flows on the camera, catching the light, editing the footage in the dead of the night. Kay's got the charcoal drawing what's there. Psychic art that'll raise your hair. Joe and Chess hear the spirits speak, connecting with the voices the rest of us seek. And names holds the K2 calling them out, provoking the shadows until they shout.
A cold wind whistles through the rot in the bone. We never walk these paths alone. Fog starts to curl around the granite and grit as the EV captures a scream in the pit.
Red eyes flicker in the camera's glare. There's a heavy hand stroking through your hair. No cold spark can shake us, no whisper can break us, no matter where the heavy energy takes us. Through the rusted iron and the mossy stone, past the nameless graves where the lost souls groan. The veil is thin and the air is cold. The strongest team that you've ever known. We're the Spookettes, the fearless five. We're leading the hunt, taking the terror right at the front. Photo cases and names are watching the haze and calling the names beneath the old willow. We stood our ground, the toughest girls in the ghost hunting
So at this time, I want to welcome the Spookettes to the show. Thanks so much for joining me, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Would you first introduce yourself individually to the audience?
Of course.
I'm Flo.
I'm Ames.
I'm Shez. I'm Di.
And I'm Kays.
And there's Lulu.
Yeah, there's Lulu.
Probably Lulu with us.
So how did you ladies first get together? Can you talk about your story and how the Spookettes came to be?
Yeah.
Our Di was getting married and she asked me to be maid of honour. So my plan was to do a surprise hen night at the most haunted place in the UK, well, supposedly, which was the ancient Ram Inn. So for 10 months, we all secretly planned the hen night there. And then we took her there on the day without her knowing anything. And that's where it all started, at the Ancient Ram Inn.
Well, whenever you aren't investigating something, what do you used to do for a living?
So I have a grown-up job. I manage a care provider. Yeah, when I'm not creeping around in the dark.
Yeah. I'm a full-time mum.
I'm a full-time mum of 6.
Wow.
How
How do you find time to do anything?
How do you have time to? I don't.
I have 2, and I can barely find time to do this show. So I don't know how in the world you do it.
I've just had my first grandchild as well, so we've got an extra one.
What about you 2 ladies on the right?
We're carers.
So what first got all of you ladies into the paranormal? Like, how did was this a childhood thing, or how did you first become obsessed and interested in doing this?
I think most of us were a childhood thing. Yeah. But we've been friends for years, even before we was doing this.
We used to do paranormal stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
But not as a like a named team. It was more just go out and have
Hobby
fun.
type,
Yeah. But but the night at the Ram was when we decided to build it as a team, and we become the Spookettes. Yeah.
The Spookettes were born.
Yes.
I love it. It's very unique. I remember when we first connected on Facebook, I was like, that's so cool. I don't think I've ever heard of a all female paranormal group before. So I was like, that's really cool. I want to talk to them. So, if you run into anybody else like y'all, is there any other all female groups anywhere that you've seen? Because I haven't seen any.
I've seen
I've seen a couple, but they're not like.
They're not solely just pure female.
We have no male interaction at all.
We do everything ourselves. Like all of our edits are done ourselves, all the camera work's done ourselves, everything that it's just us 5 that do it.
I remember I saw your video. I don't know if it's an intro or I don't know what to call it, but it's super cool. The little song and jingle and everything. Who came up with that? Was that whose idea? Whose brainchild was that? Everybody.
It was Flo.
That was all you. That was good work. It's really, really good.
Thank you.
She's very, very talented. The only downside is that we converted it into a ringtone, so whenever someone's phone rings, we never know whose phone it is.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So before you ladies became paranormal investigators, can you talk about if any of you actually had any paranormal experiences before you started investigating? Was there anything in your childhood or even in your adulthood that you can talk about as far as entities or things you've seen? Or
yeah, you go first. You're nodding away because you're nodding like a dog.
So are you. I did have a lot of experiences growing up, like feelings and just knowing that there was something else out there. But it wasn't until I got a bit older that I started like hearing things in my childhood home and seeing things. I've always had a keen, I've always liked paranormal stuff, and it just grew from there with me personally.
Yeah, and I think for me there was one time it really stuck out in my head, and to this day, me and my mum and dad still talk about it. Our back doors used to rattle like going into our garden, and it just always used to happen at the same time every single night. And I was talking to mum about this actually recently, last Sunday, and one of her mother-in-law's relative came round to our house. And she just stood up and said, leave this family alone. They're a nice family. And since that day, it never, ever happened. So it was a bit strange. And then growing up, there was a TV program, Most Haunted. I used to watch that a lot as a kid. And it kind of it spiked your interest. And then you start moving on to urban exploring. And it's a whirlwind. You kind of you run away with it then.
Yeah, it's sort of like you just have one thing after another. And
right.
It sort of like draws you in at the same time. Yeah.
You've all had it as well, don't you?
I've had it since I was a kid.
can't remember a time where we weren't involved.
Yeah.
I can't remember that far back where we didn't, well, personally, where I didn't have the interest, and not with just the paranormal, but with the mediumship as well.
Yeah.
It's been from a very young age that I can't actually remember not having it in my life.
Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of us that are in this field or interested in it had some kind of experience one way or another. I had an experience with a shadow person when I was, I don't know, maybe 19 or something, and it changed me forever. I can tell you that right now. I mean,
Don't get us started on shadow people there, Jeff. It's happened to us and we are physically scarred from it.
I was completely paralyzed laying in my bed, and it's scary stuff. I mean, this stuff is real. A lot of people like to write it off. I don't know what your religious beliefs are or anything of that sort, but I'm a Christian, and I have strong faith. And I can tell you that's how I got rid of it. Is I started praying to God, and as soon as within a minute of me praying to God, just like that, it was gone. So
see, that's similar, isn't it, when you think about it, like how we do our protection and grounding before an investigation. We believe so deeply that protection protects us from anything negative. So it's the faith, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If your faith is strong, then it's going to work. And
as if you think about it, it's like an opening prayer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like a prayer to God.
Yeah, one of my friends that I've actually had on my show twice is Heidi Hollis, and I don't know if you're familiar with her or not, but she's probably the world's foremost authority on shadow people. She actually owns the trademark and the rights to the terms shadow people and Hat Man. Wow. And she talks about it a lot, about faith, and she's a Christian as well, and she talks about that's your armor when you go into these kind of things is God. So it's awesome to hear you ladies say that as well. Do you think being an all-female group changes the way that spirits interact with you? How is that dynamic when you're doing investigations?
Yeah, I think, a lot of the places that we go to, our country, we're so lucky to have such a rich history.
Yeah, you really are.
I know you American guys are very jealous of the amount of history we've got.
Absolutely. Ours is only a couple hundred years old. Y'all's is thousands of years old. So
yeah, I think some of our pubs are actually older than the whole country. But the places that we do investigate, obviously, they are drenched in misogyny and a lot of male entity. So when you get 5 of us turning up in some of our locations and it's like, we don't take any of your nonsense, it can get interesting. Interesting. So, but then I think we had this discussion the other day, to be honest, like you were saying about motherly figures and things like that, weren't you?
Yeah. Because obviously apart from Kay's, we're all mums. So if we come across like a child spirit, they're more open to come to us because they can feel the mum side of us, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, I was curious about that because I think spirits interact differently, and they can tell if someone's a parent. They can tell if there's been tragedy. There's so many things that they can pick up on, and I think different people can go and approach different investigations in different ways and get different results. So 100%. That's very cool and definitely unique. Can you talk about some of your investigations you've done in the past, some of your favorites and some of your highlights and some of the ones that have stood out to you?
God, there's
pick out one.
There's a few.
First of all, how many years have you ladies been doing this?
Spookettes, this is our second year.
Second year, okay.
The Spookettes was
at least,
on the 5th of May 2025.
Yeah,
2024. Sorry. So this is our second year
as an official team posting stuff.
Right.
But before that,
unofficial over 10 years. Yeah.
Well, what's some of the favorite locations that you've done? Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, it's got a big.
We're all going to say prison.
Prison.
Yeah.
What happened there that in your mind stands out that's the one that automatically comes to mind for every single one of you?
That's one we ran. Yeah, we actually.
You ran?
We've never run from anywhere. We've never been that scared that we've run. And we've always said we want
to have that scare factor.
And it had to.
And Gloucester happened to
Not once,
be that
but
scare
twice.
factor.
I still protest. I was bullied during that investigation by two of my closest teammates. So I would definitely, in a horror film, I'd be done for, because my friends didn't care for me at that point.
Every woman for themselves.
Yeah, she went out the window. I know, mate.
I mean, what happened was, we were in this area that was a workshop, and the workshop was, so Gloucester Prison has a lot of history to it. It was actually built on the site of a medieval castle, so we're going back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. I like my history.
Hey, that's okay. I love history. I'm a history buff too. I love hearing about it.
Yeah, go away, Flo. Yeah, so it's got so much history there. And so we were in this area that was a workshop. We were going back to basics. We had no equipment. We had nothing. We were like, we are going to raw dog this. Yeah. So we didn't even have a torch with us.
No, you did have a torch.
I
did. In case it didn't have a torch.
I had my phone.
Oh, yeah. No,
I had my phone.
The phone doesn't count as a torch.
Yeah, exactly. See, my friend's house, she had glow in the dark fingernails, and that's all that we had. I mean, so we were in 3 sections. It was split up in 3 sections, and we all paired off with one another. I was with Shez at this point in the end section of it, and we sometimes get the giggles.
Sometimes.
A lot of the time we get the giggles.
Nails.
And what it was her nails. It kept glowing in the dark. So when it pitched black, all I could see was this glow in the dark thing, and it started to make me giggle. So I told her to tuck her fingernails away. And as I've turned to my left, there was this. It was the blacker than black shadow I have ever seen in my life, and it was 4 inches from my face.
Ooh.
And literally, I went from hot to cold. I was absolutely petrified. I then jumped in Shez's lap because it was so close to me. And Shez just threw me off of her and ran and left me. So
for Christie style.
Yeah,
right?
but the fact is that where I saw it, I've jumped. Shez has looked. She's then saw it. And we both ran out and going, no, because it was so close to us.
Yeah.
And when we said to the gentleman that does the event there, he was like, what has happened? So we've explained it. He goes, yeah, that's the peeper.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we could have given us a bit of a warning.
Bit of a warning would have been good, but no.
But yeah, so that was one of the many experiences I have of a shadow, of being petrified and abandoned by my friend. But that wasn't the first time that happened that night either.
in the same area.
In the same area, she got abandoned again.
Yeah, so do you want to explain what happened in the same area, Flo?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We were upstairs in this little room that is above the workshop. And again, we were raw dogging. We had no cameras, no equipment. We just sat there and we all felt it, didn't we? Like it just went very, very dark, and it felt like someone was like right up in our faces, just looking at all of us. And then I still to this day, I can't understand it. My whole leg was pulled from under how I was sitting, and I've like moved about 3 inches. I've grabbed hold of whoever was next to me and screamed. And then
you grabbed hold of me.
So I was the other side of you.
Literally. And then everyone's gone down the stairs because we were leaving that area. And then we were on the stairs, weren't we? Mm-hmm. And there was a whistle that was literally right behind us. So Ames has turned around and gone, oh, if that's you, can you whistle? So she's done her whistle like that. And straight away, there was a whistle right next to us. We screamed. I pushed her. And I rugby tackled her out of the doorway so I could get out.
Jeff, I'm not a small lady, okay? Flo is about 4 foot nothing, and she full on American football style tackled me into the wall to get to the door. I was scared. So not once I was abandoned, not once, but twice that night by my friend.
No. And then you had your overshadowing as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that was well creepy. That was.
And you with the women's pen as well.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah, that was
never got to a place where I've gone, no, I'm not going in there. But that women's penitentiary, that that was gruesome. That you could feel the atmosphere so thick when you walked in, and then it was like there was 20, 30 people walking around me, all staring at me at the same time, but sort of moving really quickly. And it was so overwhelming that I just could not go up those stairs on my own. And then
it was a plan for solos, wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was, yeah.
And you just
went a solo. I couldn't do it. And then Shez came and rescued me. So we attempted together and we still couldn't do it.
Yeah, we made it to the top of the stairs that time. We got to the top of the stairs and then, we stayed there.
Yeah. But the thing is, we loved it that much there that we are now going back.
Very good.
We won't let it beat us.
We're not letting it beat us. Going back.
There you go. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever had any physical encounters with any kind of spirits or entities? Have you been touched, scratched, any kind of physical manifestation?
I've got scratched. I got cold. Yeah.
That's when it really gets legit, is when you start getting the physical.
You got when we were at the run, when we were going to bed.
Oh yes,
yeah. When I was at the ancient Ram Inn, we were staying. It was the second time we went back, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've done it 37 hours.
We did a 72-hour investigation at the ancient Ram Inn, and the first night that we stayed there, we all kind of went off in pairs to sleep in different rooms, and we had literally all got into bed, and then my heart rate just went through the roof. I was so panicky, so hot, and felt so nauseous that I had to leave the building to be able to calm down again. And even when we went back into the witch, because it was the witch's room, we went in the next day to investigate with was it K2? Yes. And that's when my heart rate spiked again, so I had to.
But that
It was
that shadow.
Yeah.
It was up in
Yeah. So that was my physical.
Yeah, because that really did affect you.
That
Like
was
you
really
was
bad.
in quite a state.
They ended up sleeping in the car.
Yeah, they
did. They slept in the car.
Yeah.
What's some of the places that you talked about you're going back? What's some of the future investigations y'all have lined up?
We've got Gloucester Prison.
Yeah.
Then we've got the True Crime Museum, which is a museum that is filled to the brim of real true crime artifacts. Yeah, which is quite gruesome. We've been there before as well. And then we're doing Pendle Hill. We're going to stay in Pendle Hill for 4 days in August.
Oh, wow.
And we've got another museum up there as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's our hires for this year. That doesn't mean that we ain't doing little ones in between.
We do little ones in between. Yeah.
Quick trips here and there. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, well, let's have some fun. Can we do a little lightning round here? I want to get some quick hit questions and just see what you guys think.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite investigation thus far, which I guess I kind of asked you that one already.
Gloucester. Yeah.
Most haunted place you've investigated.
I would say Gloucester.
Yeah.
I would say Gloucester or Charlton.
Gloucester or Charlton Asylum,
I didn't do Charlton.
Yeah.
You didn't do it.
No, because I was heavily pregnant, so I couldn't do that one.
Number one location you want to investigate.
Waverley Hill
Bucket
Sanitarium.
Anywhere in USA.
We'd love to do a tour of the USA.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We would.
That's our dream. We're just waiting for that lottery win or a nice funder to get us
There you go. We've got a few good places over here. Savannah, Georgia is probably the cream of the crop if you're as far as the spiritual paranormal side of it. Of course, we got our high strangeness like Skinwalker Ranch in Utah and Bradshaw Ranch. We got some very cool locations, but a lot of high strangeness around here. Of course, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where the bloodiest battle of the Civil War, where I've been. We don't have the thousands of years of history, but we've definitely got our good locations too.
Yeah, you've got amazing locations. We've got the history, but we're still like, no,
we need
them asylums, we need them penitentiaries, we need this.
We've got plenty of penitentiaries. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, favorite piece of paranormal equipment for your investigations.
All right, you go first.
Mine's the spirit box.
K2.
Myself. Both mediums.
Paper and pencil, because I'm a psychic artist.
All right. Favorite paranormal TV personality? Anywhere in the world, anybody in the world.
Can we not do? Can we do it as like YouTubers and TikToks?
Sure. Yeah. Whoever you think is whoever's your favorite that you follow, that you think has the best content that you're most interested in. It can be whoever you want.
Who do we reckon, girls?
It's got to be Dan.
It's got to be Cole the Paranormal Dan, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a TikToker over here in the UK, and he's so good at what he does.
Yeah. And he's an amazing person and friend as well. So yeah, I think he's on the top of like
Got you. Favorite paranormal TV show?
We're all so different.
Yeah.
Me personally,
Well, that's what I
love
want to know. Each one of you tell me your favorite.
I like Twin Paranormal and Project Fear.
Project Fear is good.
I'm Project Fear, and I like a bit of Sam and Colby every now and then as well.
Yeah, we're Sam and
we're
Colby.
Sam
Yeah, I'm a bit of Project Fear and Sam and Colby.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite scary movie?
Oh,
Scary movie. I don't do horrors.
You don't do horrors, but you investigate haunted penitentiaries and
That's not every day.
in the wrong line of work.
I don't know.
See, I love Halloween.
No, I think
I'm
mine.
weird because I've got a favourite pretend serial killer and then a favourite real life serial killer.
That's not horror.
No, but I just.
Well,
like
who's the
doing
two
this.
favorites? Who's the favorite pretend and who's the favorite real life?
Pretend is Michael Myers. Real life is Jack the Ripper.
Very good. Great answers. All right. Member whose husband or boyfriend's most likely to join them on an investigation?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them, really?
Yeah.
Apart
So they're
from
missing out. You ladies just go and disappear, and then none of them get to participate. That's no fun.
He's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. No, I think all of them, like we do get little hints from them every now and then.
But then
My partner's come out with us a couple of
and
times.
so
Yeah,
sad.
yeah.
But my partner, he doesn't believe in this, but I think he wants to believe.
No, but who's our number one viewer on TikTok when we're out?
Tom.
Yeah.
But he's supporting us. It's different.
That's
But
my wife's the same way. She's not, like I said, there's people that have deep Christian spirituality. A lot of people tend to write it off. Everything is just being demonic, and that's not the case. And my wife is kind of the same way. She just kind of writes most of it off as being demonic. So, she supports what I do, but we don't share the same beliefs, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. So, remember, most likely to faint if you get scared.
Flo. No,
Everybody's
that's you.
pointing at you.
No. Do you know why? Right. Go on, explain why I'm saying you then.
Right,
What
so
happens? What do we do?
I never knew this, okay? I learned something about myself when we were at Gloucester Prison. I didn't know that when I get that scared, my legs go and I fall to the floor.
Oh, okay.
So, like, in Gloucester Prison, they've got a prison van that you can go in, and it's got, like, the little cells in there. I've gone in there to have a look. She's hidden in the cell and jumped out at me and just gone, whoa. It scared me that bad. I ended up in the fetal position on the floor. So, yeah, I didn't know that my legs go out on me when I get that scared.
And we was actually on live when that happened.
Yeah,
We was live on TikTok when that happened.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but now we do a scare fest, don't we?
Yeah.
Now we've got a tally going.
Yeah, we've got to tally how many times we can scare each other.
So who's in front right now? Who's winning?
We're equal.
We're
at the moment.
equal.
You're,
at the
all
moment.
5 of you are equal?
No, just me and Amy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're only horrible to each other. We like the others.
All right. Which member's most likely to run out and leave the others behind if they get scared? Everybody's pointing at you. At least you're unanimous on everything. I love it. All right. If this was a horror movie, who would die first?
Me, because they will leave me behind.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is great. Well, ladies, how can people look you up and follow you and support you?
By typing in at the Spookettes. We are on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Very good. We're looking forward to all your content. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what you ladies do next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Politics, Prepping, and Paranormal Podcast. Your source for real news and analysis on politics, prepping, paranormal, conspiracy theories, and the volatile state of the world we live in. Tune in next week and every week for a new episode. And stay safe, stay healthy, and stay vigilant.